Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm going to get you first of all just to come up onto either a couple of blocks or just onto a nice cushion. So you sat up nice and tall. Okay, so once we have kind of adopted that seated position, now whether you're sat just with your shins crossed or even sat in Virasana with the heels back, with you sat on your heels, that's perfectly fine. So we're all right just for like this for now. So we're just going to lift the shoulders and just roll them back. So just doing that a couple of times, just so you feel a little bit more at ease, and just allowing the shoulders to come down. And then after that, again, just have a little bit of a wriggle out, so you feel a little bit more connected down towards the ground, down towards your mat and down towards the ground. And let the hands just rest just onto the legs. So we're going to take a moment here just by closing the eyes. And just take a moment just to focus just on your body. How you physically feel. So you may have the weight of the day, of the week, of the month, or just resting on the shoulders. So just allow that to slip away. And just know that this time now, just for the next hour or so and 15 minutes, just is spent solely just on yourself. Time for you to focus on you. And bring your attention just onto your breathing. Notice the quality of your breathing. Notice the length of the breath. Is the breath consistent? Or is there a few little judders in the breath? Is the breath of equal length? Is there a slight pause at the top and bottom of the breath? So just being fully aware. Now the Yin practice, we're taking that focus really inside the body. Working on the deep layers, so muscular layers, also really getting into that connective tissue. Allowing it in these poses that we're going to be doing, just allowing the fascia just to start to unravel. We hold on to any form of trauma just in the body, even from things that we hear, as well as things that we do. So the fascia takes a bit of a battering. So with a practice like this, we start to unravel, unwind, bringing us back to our true natural state of being. Now if we bring our hands together now, so palms are together, just bringing the thumbs in towards the breastbone, in towards that heart center. Eyes are just gently closed. And just being aware of the balance of the right and left side, just coming together. Hands just in the Anjali Mudra, the gesture of Namaste. A gesture of greeting, of peace, And also a perfect mudra for us to be able to set our intention for the practice. So your intention, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that's brought you to the practice? Whether you're working to improve yourself, or whether you're working just to clear headspace, just bring it to the forefront. And also maybe looking a little deeper. And just being aware of anything that comes up. So the things that we crave, peace or content, happiness. And allow this to go with you through your practice. And then bring your thumbs up to the space between the eyes, the Ajna chakra, your intuitive center, the center for wisdom and knowledge, and for reaffirming that intention. And taking the hands up over the crown. So your intention is then out there. Or drawing the hands back down towards the heart center. Center for love and compassion. And always remembering to work with that through your practice. And then releasing the hands down. Softly blink the eyes open. Okay, so if you have a different position to how I'm sat now, you might want to bring yourself just so you have a firmer base. So if you were sat back in Virasana with the heels back, you might just want to come into this easy cross-legged. Now, if you have a cushion or a block handy, you're just going to place that just onto your left-hand side. So you can scrunch that up and just placing the hand into there. Or a block or a cushion. Now I'm going to bring our right hand up and bring it up and over the head. So it goes over towards the temple on the other side. And then just allow the head to fall over to the side. And as it falls over, you just have the weight of the hand just gently pressing down. I'm just going to close the eyes. Allow the attention just to be with the breathing. Soft, smooth, quiet breath. Now remember, we're not forcing the head in any way. We're just simply resting the hand just onto the temples at the side and just easing that head over. So the hand which is pushing down into the block or the cushion, just really start to make that connection there with it. So we feel that that shoulder is drawing down. So we start to feel a long stretch out through the side of the neck. Just noticing, just being aware of how that feels. If you're not feeling anything there, you can maybe just move the head slightly forward, taking the gaze down a little bit towards the armpit on that right hand side. So really starting to target into the muscles, and that deep connective tissue just along that left side. So when we find our edge, we hold. Find the appropriate depth of where you want to take it in that pose. keeping the breathing smooth. Noticing the quality of your breath. Notice even after a short while, as the breathing starts to change. I'm just taking a couple more full rounds of breath. And then let the hand just come away from the head and bring that hand just underneath, just resting onto the cheek on that right side. Gently push the head back up. And then bringing the hand down. So we can bring the hand away just from the cushion, let the hands come back again just onto the legs. Just sit in the center. Eyes closed. Deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. So we allow the body just to come back into being perfectly aligned. Notice any effects. I'm just holding the pose just for that short while. And then slowly, we're going to be going over to the other side. So I'm not making any sudden movements, but just bringing the cushion or your block over to the other side. Hand can press down into that. So make it get a connection there. So we start to draw that right shoulder down. Bring in the left hand up, take it over the head, towards the temple. And as we exhale, just allow the head just to go over to the side. Again, no weight really on that hand. The hand is just, well, it's just resting there. It's not pulling down. Again, find that appropriate depth. When we find the edge on that stretch, we wait. We make a resolve to remain still. It's when we hold and when we wait, we then find, maybe we find some glimpses of magic start to happen. Remember, if you're not really feeling anything on there, you can always just turn the head slightly to look down as if looking towards the armpit on that side. It just changes the area slightly of the muscles and the connective tissue of where we're working. So we keep that right hand just reaching down towards the cushion or down towards the floor, keeping the shoulder down. So we may even feel that moving right into the arm. Soft, smooth breath. And you may even find after a short time, you may even find that the edge starts to disappear. And if we manage to find that, and again we find another edge, but we're not deliberately looking for that. Just allowing that to happen. Okay, so just take a couple more rounds of breath. And then we can release the hand from the top of the head, bring it underneath onto the cheek and push so we come back up. We can move the cushion or the block out of the way, placing the hands down again onto the thighs. And then sit nice and tall, keeping the chin just on parallel with the floor. Just close the eyes, take a few breaths, and just notice how you feel. Okay, softly open the eyes and place the hands just towards the knees. Now our hands are just there just to stabilize us, so just to get ourselves moving, we're just going to take a simple cat stretch just while sitting. So pulling back and then easing forward. So moving back and easing forward. So allowing the muscles around your back, around the torso to bring you forwards and back. We're not using the arms to drag ourselves through. Keep it nice and smooth. Okay, so the next time we bring the chest through and lift in, and allow it just to soften, just to bring us back into being sat nice and upright again. Okay, so we're going to move it through now, and we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So if you grab yourselves just a few cushions and things for this one, I'm going to show you first of all. I'm going to take just one of the blocks, and I'm going to place a cushion on top of that, or a couple of cushions you can have. I'm going to take the knees nice and wide, and we're going to come first of all just onto hands and knees, just with the knees wide. We're going to bring our left arm up into the air. It's going to come through. It's going to go right underneath, and we're going to lay over the blocks. So your bottom will be up in the air, knees are out wide, hand is reaching out along the floor, and my shoulder is down. So the other hand can press down into the floor and to help us in that twist. So we're going to hold there for a little while, and then after a little while we're going to be taking the arm back. So if you want to just get yourself set up just into that position. So again, I'll show you. So we had plenty of padding in there, and we're over the top of it with the knees out nice and wide. We're bringing our left arm up, and then we bring it through. So like threading the needle type pose. Bring your shoulder down to the floor, and we're placing our hand, we're moving it out. The right hand is moving out to the side a little bit, and it's going and pushing into the floor just to enable us to twist around that little bit more. Now, from the hand which pushes down, if this is enough, and we're staying here, if you can always end up changing it by lifting this right arm up in the air, and remember it moves the chest round as well. So it lifts up, and then it's wrapping back around and it's reaching towards the thigh, left thigh. So rolling the shoulder back, the head looking up towards the ceiling. Now we're just going to close our eyes here. It gives a tremendous stretch out across the top part of the back, the shoulders. The twist is really nourishing for the spine. And it also gives us that opening up in the chest and in the hips. Now again, just paying attention to the breathing, holding here as still as we can. Now remember, the mind is like a little monkey. We want to keep going off, bringing back what it thinks are nuggets of information. And they're not really. All we need to do in this practice is just to be in the pose. We just need to be here. In order sometimes to be able to unravel any of that fascia, often comes up against little disturbances of maybe not great feelings. And this is why the mind starts to distract you from things, from being still, from being able to concentrate on the matter in hand. So if we can just keep that focus just on the breathing. And just noticing sometimes in order to be able to have little breakthroughs and little magic moments, there sometimes needs to be a slight bit of discomfort. As long as it's not painful, and we're okay to remain here. Okay, now we're going to slowly start to come out of this. We can bring the arm back, bring it back down to the floor. I'm going to slowly start just to push ourselves back up. Now once we're back up onto our hands, just sit back for a moment, just rest the head down. And taking 3 deep breaths. Okay, so after those 3 breaths, I'm going to be working onto the other side. So if you bring yourselves back up, so this time it will be your right hand which is going to go through. I'm just going to turn myself around so I can still see the screen. Okay, so knees are wide, hands are down, and then taking your right arm up first of all, really stretch it up, pushing away from that lower hand, and then start to bring it through. It's going to slide through and bringing that shoulder down to the floor. Your left hand pushes into the floor to enable you just to maybe go through that little bit further. Now we either hold here, if you're feeling as if it's not really doing too much. I know there's a few bendy ones who are in the Zoom call, so we can just then take that top arm if you want to. You can bring that up. Remember, it starts to turn the chest. It'll give you a little bit more of that spinal twist, and then bringing the hand round so you can maybe grab towards the top of your right thigh. Again, once we're here, we're holding. We're at our appropriate depth. And the beauty of this, as with a lot of the yoga poses, is that everybody is unique in their own approach and their own way that they'll look in the pose. But it's what feels right for you and for your body. Just noticing again whether the mind has started to wander. We often have things which come up in the mind, and we then start to attach ourselves to the story. So if there is things coming up, just allow them to come up and allow them to go again. Take it back more to the sensations, not only just of the physical body, but what we feel is going on inside, the slight adjustments. You may feel slight fluttering. Maybe wells of energy, pranic energy moving around. So remember not to get caught up and feed that monkey mind. So breathing nice and smooth. Okay, so we can start to come back now. So if your hand was back behind, bringing that arm up. Bring it down towards the floor. Little press down. You can bring yourselves back up again just onto your hands and knees. And this time just bring your knees in, just closer together. Bring the head down. So just the forehead is just pressing down. If you can, you're taking 3 breaths here and just have them as releasing breaths. So have the breathing out through the mouth and sound the breath out. So taking a breath in and then allowing everything to release and let go with those 3 releasing breaths. And after your 3 breaths, come back up. I'm just going to move myself back round now, so you can still stay the same way round. Now we're going to come into a pose, either Sphinx pose or seal pose. So we're going to use lots of cushions and things for this, or if you have got your blocks, you can have 2 blocks, one placed on top of the other, or you can even have like a cushion on top of that as well. So in this one, we're going to be lying out, straight legs. So, and coming forward over that. So we can bring either the forearms down and the hands are in to help us keep that lift. If you know you're a bit more flexible in your back, the hands might want to come down a little bit lower, and you can use the hands a little bit to help keep that lift. Okay. If you're really flexible, again, I know there's a few, I'm not going to go for this option, but you bring the legs up. Now, when the legs come up, if it really makes you feel as if your chest is coming forward, just keeping the legs down. I know there's a couple of you that might have the option with the legs up, that's fine. If you do, you're having your toes pointing up towards the ceiling, and make sure the tailbone stays tucked under. So that for everyone, really keep that tailbone tucking under and the pubic bone pressing down towards the floor. Okay, so adopting whichever position you feel best with. All the supports are there just to help you to bring it into this position. So you can either have forearms down and use the hands and press up, or if you can have that option of coming up that little bit higher. Okay. See, if we can avoid the legs rolling out, keep them so we have if you're pressing the top of the foot into the floor, make sure you have every toe pressing down. So if we're rolling out, we kind of have that tendency to pinch a little bit more in the back. So keeping the ankles in line with the feet. Okay, so here we go. Again, just closing the eyes. So keeping nice and strong just with the legs. Feel that stretch through the spine, the skin on the back of the body, and that lift through the chest. That open feeling through the chest. Allowing us to breathe that little bit deeper. Now notice if you do have a tendency to be a little bit tighter in the small of the back, just be aware of that. Just keep maybe reminding yourself just to soften out, just to allow the body to release, to let go. So remember, in our Yin practice, it's slightly different from restorative. Restorative, we're just allowing the body to completely relax. With the Yin practice, there is still a Yang side to that Yin. It's kind of actively releasing and letting go. So, so the same principle we talked about as bracing teeth. You wouldn't want them rearranging just overnight. It could take months. So, and the same principles apply with our Yin practice. And just noticing even through the breathing, you may even feel that slight slump every now and again, just where the edge starts to release. And we stay with that for a while, and we really feel a big slump. We may find we need to just adjust ever so slightly. Remember, we're not really working into it, we're releasing away from it. Now, as often a pose can feel quite challenging in the Yin practice, especially with something like this where we're resting up onto the arms. So just bring your attention back to your intention, which you set at the beginning. The reason why you came to the practice, what it was you were looking for. Bring that to the forefront. When you have that, and again, just switch it back to the breathing. Noticing the sensations running through the body. It may even be a slight flutter into the toes, or a twitch happening. All the unraveling process. Okay, just taking 2 more breaths. And slowly start to just bring it down a little bit. So just take a moment here, just maybe a couple of breaths, just resting just fully into the support. And then when you feel okay, you can just roll over to one side, just bringing your blocks and the cushion maybe out of the way. You can just move them over, just so you can lie yourself just completely flat. So hands can come down by the sides. Just turn your head to one side. And just allowing the cheek just to press into the mat. Feeling that connection with the ground. Allowing the head to feel heavy. And then noticing just which parts of the body come to the floor easily. And then paying attention to the parts of the body which aren't quite at the floor yet. Take a few breaths, and each time you exhale, allow the body just to soften that little bit more. Now, after your next exhalation, what I'm going to do is just lift the head, turn the head over to the other side. So I'm just going to bring myself up, otherwise I don't want to be turning and facing away from you. So when we have the head turned to the other side, just taking 3 or 4 breaths there. And again, remember to fully release and to let go. Let the weight of the cheek be onto the floor. Notice the rest of the body softening and just melting down. And notice the back of the body maybe melting towards the front of the body, which is down onto the floor. Okay. Now if we bring our hands now, so they're just underneath the shoulders, draw back across your belly and just gently start to push to come up. Bring your knees in and just sit back. So back just into child's pose. I'm going to just place one hand on top, make a fist with the hands, one hand on top of the other one. Just rest the head down just for a moment. Again, if you can, just allow the weight just to melt down. There's no tension at all. It's allowing the body just to release, to let go. Then after the next exhalation, slowly bring yourselves back up. And you're going to bring yourselves up onto either one or two blocks or a cushion, if you have one. Have one handy. So we're going to place our legs. It'll be Gomukhasana legs, and it will be eagle arms, Garudasana arms. So Gomukhasana legs, we're going to take our left leg underneath the right, and we're going to bring right leg over the top. So whatever your variation is of that. So one underneath going one way, and one on the top going out to the side. So take a couple of blocks if you need them. If you're struggling to get the legs, you can either have that top leg a little bit straighter, or you could always have that bottom leg straight and the top one over the top of it. Okay. So it's just a nice one for the hips, which you'll just prepare as well for the next pose. So legs are in Gomukhasana. Now arms, we're going to be doing Garudasana arms. So we're just going to take the arms out to the sides. Now bring your right, it'll be your right elbow, will be underneath the left. So it's going to go underneath, and then the hands come to meet. If the hands don't come to meet, that top thumb, bring it down, grab hold of it, brace the thumb, and pull the hand up, and it'll get you a little bit nearer there. Now once we have it, we're right in front of the face with the hands. And I want you to just take a little lean forward and breathe. Breathe into the back of the body. Feel as if the shoulder blades are moving further apart. You can even just bring your forehead, so your Ajna chakra, onto the thumb and just resting it there. So just giving it that focus point. So nice and wide across the shoulders. And on this one, we can really pay attention to the breathing. So when we pay attention to the breath, we can almost feel the body then just expanding as you inhale, expanding into the back of the body, and exhaling, just contracting back in. So when we pay attention to the breathing, we can almost start to remove ourselves from any physical discomfort. We just keep attention with the breath, with sensations inside the body. And freeing us from any physical discomfort. So as we breathe in this way, we're starting to really feel the back of the body start to open, really starting to aerate the lungs. And so the breathing well is going to take all that nice, fresh, oxygenated blood, carrying it through the body. And all that healing prana moving through to the parts of the body where it's needed. Okay, so after your next exhalation, you start to lift up, and then you can unravel the arms. Now for our legs, so with this one, we can either just swap your legs over, just working nice and slowly, stretch them out first if you're doing that. Or if you want to go and change legs from this position, we come up to standing. So we rock forward. We don't come all the way up. We kind of do like a little dance in the middle. We come all the way around and sit back down. And then we should have that over onto the other side. Okay, so I might need to just adjust slightly. Need to, that's fine. And then once we're there, then we can, so without really disturbing the body too much, we'll go on to the other side. So taking the arms out to the side. And then this time when we bring it in, the left arm is going underneath the right. That's it. Okay. So remember, if you're struggling to bring the hands closer together, take the top thumb, bring it down, grab hold, brace the thumb, and pull the lower hand up. And it's going to go in front of the face. We take a little lean forward, and we start to open up across the back of the body. We'll feel that stretch. And we can place the forehead just onto the thumb. Breathing nice and smooth. So when we're working with the connective tissue, slightly different to muscles in the body, they all have a large blood supply to them. So even when we stretch them and we move them, then they respond quite well. And they also kind of, with the muscle memory, they'll start maybe shrinking back, but then they'll stretch again quite easily. So your connective tissue, it is a structure in itself. The structure is created even when you're in your mum's womb. The structure of that connective tissue is forming. Just over years, and even from very early on, we can just take knocks which start to change that structure. It's not got a very good blood supply to it, so even when we try and change it, the memory of it can just hold and spring back. So we work on it slowly, very slowly. So hence why having to hold the poses just for a little bit longer. So we're almost kind of stressing the body, but the stress is it's a good tense stress. So remember, just keep bringing in your intention. And then let that drift as it brings you back to your breathing. Okay, just taking one more breath here. After the exhalation, slowly start to lift the head, coming back up. Unravel the arms. Ooh, take a nice little stretch out to the sides maybe. And then bring them down. Just stretch the legs out in front. So our hands can just press down as we lift up, taking the shoulders back. Okay, so we're just going to now come into a wide-legged forward bend. Now, when I say wide-legged forward bend, you don't have to be really too wide with the legs, just a comfortable distance apart. Now, you may also need, even when you sat in this position, there can be a tendency to rock back if your hamstrings are a little bit tight. So if that's the case, get the corner of the cushion and you can just place that in. So we're just on that corner and it'll help to kind of tip you forward a little bit. And before you actually sit down, if you grab either another cushion or a block, or if you've got your bolster or something like that, you can grab that. So anything, cushions, blocks, anything. Now, once we're nice, and I'll move that out of the way just for now so you can see. So I'll put those down instead. So in this one, we're going to be going over to the side. There's a couple of ways that we can get into it. We're going to make sure the leg that we're leaving behind, which is going to be our right leg we're leaving behind, we're going over to the left. So I'm going to slide my hand along onto the blocks with my palm facing up. Then my right hand, I'm going to bring and I'm going to take it up and just back behind me. And it can just rest there. So we can either hold here, and because we're here for a couple of minutes, you can just take the head and just rest it onto the hand. So, you know, use your props just to prop you up. If you want to go a little bit further with it, then we can lose maybe a block or the bolster. You can hold onto the foot. We get that twist, and the arm is going to come up and over the head. And we're holding there. So I know it's not going to be accessible for everybody who's in the room. So pick the depth which you want to go to. You know, you don't want to hold in here for a couple of minutes. So if you want to just be there with it, you don't have to touch the foot. If you can make that connection, then that's great. So a hand can rest there. You can rest it here. You can take the hand once it's up and take it back behind. If you are going a little bit further, then you can grab hold of the foot, ease yourself down. Arm is coming up and over and onto the foot. Okay, making sure that the whole time you're pressing away on that right side, that is anchoring down. It's a very casual pose once you have the head just resting onto the hands, and that's fine. Just let the weight of the head just rest there. If you're further down, then that's fine. I know there's a couple of you that'll be able to maybe get there, and the head will be resting along the leg, so that's fine. So everybody is at their own level, their own depth. Everybody unique in their own way and how they adopt the pose. Remember, we're not using the body to get into the pose. We're using the pose to get into our body. So remember, just keep with your edge. We're not working to work into the stretch. I know it's tempting, that just becomes a ego-based. So if that's the case, just ease off. Just find that edge and hold. Okay, just taking 2 more breaths. And then slowly start to bring yourselves back up. So when we come back up, just in the center for a moment, bring the hands back behind, just press down, just keeping that lift. Make sure we feel as if the heels are pushing away, thighs are pressing down towards the floor. Keep the shoulders back, chin just on parallel with the floor. And just even there, just closing the eyes. So we come back just into a completely balanced state. And softly open the eyes. And then we're ready just for the other side. So you can move your blocks, things across. And we're just going to place the arm down and we can start to slide the arm along. So it slides along. It's going to hold either onto your foot if you can reach it. If you can have your cushions there, rest onto it. You can have the head resting on the hand. Remember, with your left arm, the arm is coming up. And it can either rest back behind. So we still have that open feeling across in the chest. If you're able to, then the hand can come over the head and it holds onto the foot. So it's one thing being able to get there, but it's being able to maintain that, keep it there for a while. If it's going to be too much of a challenge as you're holding on to it, then again, the only person you're kind of going against is just you yourself. You may as well have something where you feel a little bit of that edge and you can maintain the pose. So once we're here, we're just closing the eyes again. So just registering if there's any little fluctuations or anything happening through anywhere else in the body. So we can often get those little bits of fluctuation, feel a fluttering maybe across the legs or even into the shoulders. And a completely different area to maybe an area where you're working. Nevertheless, we feel them, like connective tissue as it goes round. There's no kind of stop and starts with the connective tissue, running through the whole of the body, woven through arteries and veins, the bones, muscles. So when we feel a knock or something in one part of the body, then we're surely going to maybe start to feel that somewhere else in the body. So in yoga, we're looking at a full holistic approach, working the whole of the body. Okay, so after your next exhalation, slowly start to bring yourselves back up. Okay, so we can just move the blocks and things out of the way. Just place the hands back behind. It will push to lift up nice and tall. It's taking a moment there, even closing the eyes again, so it takes us back more into that being mode. And after the exhalation, just softly open the eyes. And then you may want to have the hands underneath the legs just to help them come back in, bring them back in. Now you're going to bring yourself down just to lying down. We're going to be just doing a moving spinal twist before coming into a final pose. So in this twist, just show you, we're going to be the arms out to the sides and taking the legs over so the feet are together. And we're just rocking, having one foot just on top of the other one. So we're just easing over to one side. We take a breath, exhale. And as we're exhaling, we're just rolling straight over to the other side. And we'll wait for the next exhalation just to take us back over again to the other side. So the only time the legs should be moving is just as you're exhaling. So when they're down at the side, however far you come down, you inhale, or you pause, and then exhale, going over. So just taking us into a nice spinal twist again. So great for, again, any muscular tension. So working into that deep fascia, connective tissue. Also a great one for just detoxifying the body, just ridding the body of anything that is no longer needed. It's not only great for the spine, but just for the whole of the digestive system. Okay, now we're just going to finish off on the side, not the side that you started at, so on the opposite side to the side you started. And then come back into the center. I'm going to have to just bring yourselves up just to sitting for a moment. Now this is where you're going to need either some cushions. If you have a bolster handy, then you can use your bolster. So this is going to go for the top part of your back. You can have maybe one of the blocks and a cushion, something for your head, but you want to be getting a good stretch on your neck as well. Now we're going to be holding here just for a little while. Now it's going to be the top part of my back. I'm going to take the soles of my feet together and rest them down. My bottom is down. Even if you want to pad out underneath the small of your back, you can do. Arms are going over the top and your head is tipping back. Again, we get this open feeling across the chest. It's right into the lymphatic drainage system, right across the top part of the chest. So we're with the soles of the feet together. Also, it's quite relaxing and soothing just for the small of the back. So just bringing ourselves into a version of SucramYoga. So just with that little bit of a lift in the chest. So in this one, the hips are down, onto the bottom is down onto the floor. It's just right up into the thoracic spine, which is lifted. And there is a long, I'm feeling it more in my chest, but we also feel a little bit of a stretch out just through the throat as the head goes back. If it feels uncomfortable with the neck back, then just give yourself more padding just underneath the head. So here we're just creating a little bit more space. Space through the whole of the front of the body. A long stretch through the whole of the spine, including the cervical spine with the head back. The whole of that thoracic area nice and open. The heart starts to open, move forward. And the whole of the abdominal area takes a good stretch here. So if we think of meridian lines, we have the heart meridian, the lungs, and the small intestines, which all kind of work together. So we're getting a good stretch out for all three of those. So just taking your time there, just breathing well. Again, bring to mind your intention which you set at the beginning. And also it's nice to work with affirmations. So if we think of positive affirmations, so when we have our heart center open, we're more receptive to hearing affirmations. And if we say them enough times with the affirmation, we start to bring them in, they start to become our belief. We feel then a deep conviction with an affirmation, if repeated lots and lots of times. So if we start with the first words of I am, and we're going to follow that with some positive affirmations. So as I say the words, just allow yourself to hear them as if they're your words. So I am strong. I am powerful. I am loved. I am abundant. I am confident. I am blessed. I am wonderful. I am rich. I am fabulous. I am beautiful. So just allowing those words and just feel them through the whole of the body. Allow them to be you. Allow the vibration of the words just to resonate through the whole of the body. We're just going to take 3 more long deep breaths here. And after the 3 breaths, I'm just going to get you just to roll over maybe just to one side so we can start to push away any of the supports or anything which you have just underneath your back or underneath your head. And then if you lie yourselves down flat on the floor, you can have a cushion just underneath the backs of the knees if you want to, just to take any pressure off your back. But with any of the cushions or the blankets or blocks or anything that you have left over, place them on top of the body. So into that heart center, the solar plexus area, Svadhisthana area, and the Muladhara area. So covering the whole of that area. So anything you have, just with a little bit of weight to it, just placing it on top of the body. Just laying yourself down. And just take a moment just to make sure you feel comfortable. Make sure you feel at ease. Notice your breathing. Soft, smooth, calm, and relaxed. Notice each time you exhale, feel the back of the body moving closer towards the ground. And then notice when you exhale, the front of the body moving closer to the back of the body. Notice which parts of the body we feel any tension, the obvious signs of tension. And take the focus of the breath to those parts. Each time you exhale, allow that area to release and to let go. From the tips of the toes, the ankles, the shins and calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the groin, the buttocks, small of the back, and the belly, the mid-back, the solar plexus, the top of the back, the arms, down to the elbows, the forearms, the wrists and the hands, the chest, the throat soft, back of the neck releasing, the lower jaw releasing, softness to the ears, the skin smooth on the cheeks, moving down towards the ears, eyes sinking back in the sockets, the brow bone soft, skin on the forehead slipping back over the top of the head. Feel the scalp release. We release, we let go. We think of the affirmations. The start of the affirmation of I am. So I am fabulous. I am beautiful. I am loving. I am kind. I am compassionate. I am positive. I am free. I am wealthy. I am calm. I am full of joy. I am brilliant. I am happy. I am content. I am unique. I am me. Feeling the vibration, the positive affirmations. As they move through your body. You're just believing in the words, believing in yourself. Believe in your thoughts and how they lead to your actions. So beliefs become deep conviction. When we believe, we have that deep conviction. We can become or believe in anything. We can be anything. Just remaining here now for as long as you feel comfortable. Thank you for joining me in today's practice. Namaste.